Hi, welcome to Out of Rubble's Walking Through Rubble, basically a series of conversations where we talk to people about how they are struggling and dealing with life and how they're walking that out in their faith. So today we have Sean Canada, who is a father, a husband, a believer, a small business owner, and friend. I called him up and asked him, hey, can I ask you some questions and we can just hear your heart about how you're walking through this pandemic? And he agreed. So thank you, Sean, for joining us today.
Well, thank you for having me. It's an honor to be able to just talk to you and to everybody else who's watching you guys just about my journey, my story, our story as we're going through this. So yeah, fire away.
Well, real simple, right off the top. Just tell us a little bit about how this pandemic has affected you, your family, your business, those around you. What's going on?
Yeah, so I don't know, like anybody and everybody that you probably talk to, it's affected every aspect of their lives. When it first started, I'd say like in February, people were talking about the virus coming in from another nation. We started seeing little bits of it here in America. We were already kind of ramping up for the flu season for our business. Our business revolves around the residential remodel situation or work, and so I tend to try and do whatever I can to keep everyone healthy because some of the people that we employ, they have families with compromised immune systems. So I kind of already saw some things coming, so I went ahead and just bought some gloves and the Lysol, whatever, to just take care of the guys that work for us and the women. And then things got serious, and I started seeing things panicking a little bit. And so I just did as much as I could to shore up work, meaning what could I do to make sure we were doing everything we could as a business to create security for our employees, security for the vendors and the networking business relationships, and also what could I do to bring security to our customers? Because I wanted them to not only just feel like they were being safe and being thought of in a health way, but also we're doing everything we can to make sure we can keep going depending on how people shut doors. So that's how we kind of got prepped. But as soon as February was over and March hit, like one day it felt like just kind of like, we're preparing for a hurricane or something like that. I'm from Florida, so hurricane prep is a normal way of life. So for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, sorry. In 1 week, I went from having work lined up all the way into mid-fall, hiring guys. In 1 week, we literally had 50% of our work just disappear overnight. We had customers call us and say, hey, we're scared. We prefer to just pull our money because already before they started actually having stay-at-home orders, before they started having quarantining talks, a lot of people were already being laid off or asked to work from home, and people were very scared about the money. So on Monday, I went to work, solidified some things, hired a new guy. Tuesday, I get some calls saying we're going to cancel our work or reschedule for another time. Wednesday, I had officially lost 50% of the projected business we had for summer and fall. By Thursday of that same week, we had been asked out of 5 jobs that we're working on for 2 of those jobs to please, can we just ask the workers to please go home? Can we just stop completely? Because people were rightfully so, they were scared. And so I literally went from a Monday looking like we're going to have the best year of our life to a Thursday having to look at 5 of my employees in the eyes and saying, hey, I don't have work for you. And also having to, as a business owner, lead/care for them and try and develop ways for them to have income, for them to have security in the midst of all this, and also take care of my employees. In that note, I have to come home Thursday night and talk to my family about financially, we are in a place where we're going to have to start trusting. But we're in a place where we're going to have to start changing our lifestyle to be ready for this because I'm not just a business owner, I'm a father. And in everything I do, my job is to try and see things into the future and not just project the best of what the future could hold, but also project the reality of what we're getting ready to deal with. And now it's unsure. So as a business leader, this whole thing has changed everything because it went from surety and predictability to nothing is normal. I don't think we'll ever go back to what we called normal again. And I've got to take care of family and employee and customers' hearts, feelings, and finances. My family at the time, my wife works in our business as well as she is pursuing and starting up another business. And our children were in full-time school. And again, like everybody else, one day we're riding normal, and then on Monday, our kids are told, you can't come to school. Our school decided to shut down for 2 months immediately, right off the bat, not 2 weeks, 2 months. And immediately started a mixture of online classes and homeschooling. Some of you listening may have never had the pleasure of homeschooling. Me and my wife, we homeschooled our children for about 6 years, and the last 2 years they're in full-time school. So we were used to the schedule. What we weren't used to is the fact of having to do homeschool, which is very hands-on, very detailed on the parents' side. But we've never done it with both parents full-time working, because though they were home and things at work were different, less work, my wife was still full-time working and at the same time managing a household, being a teacher, a counselor, helping out for the mommies on board, mommy, I don't like this, and also trying to be there for her friends and people in our community. So it was very hard. I would say the transition went from like, okay, pull your bootstraps up, let's do this. Then it became overwhelming. Then it became weary. And then it became a fight to go into a routine of this is what it is. It's not going to stop. For me, it's very hard. I think a lot of business owners and leaders, whether it's in the house, in the community, a pastor, you immediately take ownership of people's troubles. You want to try and fix it. You want to try and push the ball forward. I'm the type of person who said the giant can fall. It's very hard when you start, throwing swings and they're not connecting, but you feel like you're just getting punched over and over and over again. And that's kind of where it was. And I remember coming home after the fourth or fifth day of just things not happening. Like we had vendors decide that they were running out of money, so they called all accounts due on every single one of their accounts to every single one of our accounts, our competitors' accounts. They all called it due. And in our world, when they call your accounts due, some people float 3 months worth of work with that. So, it's just kind of like, oh my gosh, it just doesn't stop. I remember walking in the door and dropping the files in my hands. My wife and I had been having a constant conversation about, how are the guys doing? How are the customers doing? We were sending out emails and Instagram and text to all of our customers just to check and see how they're doing as a family, not even caring about the work, just how are you doing? Are you prepped and all this? And I just like walked in the door and my wife looked at me and we both just kind of fell out a little bit because we were exhausted. We were 4 weeks into this thing, and we were just like financially, we're reaching failure moment. Emotionally, we've done everything in our own will. We're doing everything we can to make our kids feel like this is fun and normal. And parents hiding that stuff for a week, okay, that's like a vacation. But hiding it for a couple months, that stuff's hard, and we can all say that stuff, and it makes your heart just ache, and it makes it to the point where you can't do it in your own strength. And so I came in the door that day, and I looked at my wife, and she looked at me, and I remember just kind of like leaning up against the wall and be like, I can't do this. Like everything we worked hard for, culture-wise, business-wise, You know, it looked like 2020 was the year we were going to launch our network of relationships and business was going to launch, and all in just 2 weeks, it all just disappeared. It just disappeared. We're an essential business, but the problem is we don't have the finances to keep going. None of our competitors do too. This environment is not conducive to keeping work going. It's more about keeping work surviving, you know, emergency. And I reached my limit. And honestly, if it wasn't for my faith in the Lord, my wife's faith in the Lord, and seeing God's hand actually tap us in the heart and reminding us of past things He's taken us out of, I don't know where we'd be right now. I don't know if I'd be still having a smile at the same time dealing with all the mental struggles and emotional struggles we're going through right now.